Right now at 11, team coverage of the Amtrak tragedy in Philadelphia as investigators comb through the wreckage.
We will continue to do all that we can until we are assured that we've accounted for all of the people we believe were on that train.
We learn more about the victims who lost their lives in the derailment. Everything you need to know right now at 11.
This is Fox 5 Local News at 11.
We start off at 11 with new details in the Amtrak derailment. I'm Will Thomas.
And I'm Sean Yancey. The death toll has now climbed to 7. Among the dead, Abid Galani, a Wells Fargo senior vice president from Rockville, Justin Zimzer, a midshipman at the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Jim Gaines, an Associated Press employee who had been visiting D.C. on business, and Rachel Jacobs, CEO of an online education company, was here from the New York City area. Among the missing, Bob Gildersleeve. He's an Ecolab employee from Baltimore, Maryland.
We have team coverage tonight. Lauren DeMarco spoke with one of the family members of one of the local victims who did not survive. But we're going to begin with Marina Morocco, live tonight in Philadelphia, right near that crash site. Marina?
Hey there, Will and Sean. Like you said, 7, that new death toll here. 7 people confirmed dead from the wreck that happened just behind those police barricades that you see there. Now, 8 people remain in critical condition, 23 still at Temple University Hospital. And we understand 3 tomorrow will be going major surgery, several still unaccounted for. Now, NTSB arrived at about 4 this morning here on the scene, and they will remain here for about a week now, trying to figure out and put all the pieces together to this puzzle as to what exactly happened here. Now, they tell us that the curve speed here at this junction is 50 miles per hour, and per their preliminary investigation, it suggests the engineer actually took that curve at 106 miles per hour 3 seconds later after inducing the brakes at 102 miles per hour. That's when the train derailed. Now, still a lot of questions. There have been conflicting reports as to whether that engineer has given any sort of statement to investigators, but we understand that right now he is no longer speaking with anyone because he is now lawyered up. Now, we also understand that many of the passengers on board Amtrak train 188 were not locals. They were either from Washington, D.C., New York City, and many even from abroad. But we did speak with one man who had just boarded the train 10 minutes before the derailment. Here's his story. Night Tuesday evening. Emergency responders lighting the Frankfurt Rail Junction in Northeast Philadelphia with only flashlights, searching through mangled train cars for more than 200 passengers, majority hailing from everywhere but Philadelphia. On the other side of the Schuylkill River in West Philly, it's just another day. This iconic cheesesteak shop, Jim's, open and ready for business. Just across the street in this home,
crunch this way and then crunch and then down to the ground.
A product of the streets of Philadelphia, renowned entertainer Yamin Allworld. And it was all slow motion for you?
It was Matrix-ish.
Yamin boarded Amtrak train 188 at 9:10 p.m. in Philadelphia, 10 minutes before the derailment. He was headed to New York City, where he was slated to perform at an awaited private Paul McCartney party.
I was supposed to leave at 7:40. I changed it to 8 o'clock. I found out he was going to perform later, so I didn't have to be there until later, which was 11:15 start time. So I changed it to the 9:10 train.
But as he was getting settled in his seat in car 5 and shooting text messages to friends,
next thing you know, I'm rising out of my seat, and everything starts to become slow motion, and the accident began.
He flew over seats and crash landed on his shins, his neck still banged up.
Here we were helping the lady off this train on this side, and then he was trying to come forward in the cafe cars.
How long did it take before rescue crews arrived and you started hearing the sirens in the distance?
Sirens, I would say 2 minutes at least. People actually arriving, I would say within 5 minutes.
Yamin says he hasn't slept since the crash, and 24 hours after living through this, he has even more reason to celebrate. It's now his birthday. Is this almost like a rebirth to some degree?
I don't look at it like that, but I look at it as definitely a blessing, yes.
And so many untold stories like Yamin's, and there's other people who helped so many others, many who probably did not get out alive from the wreckage. Now out here we've seen big rigs coming and going from the scene, a crane also assisting here with NTSB investigators, and we do understand that they are starting to work on the rails here, because for now Amtrak continues to suspend all service. Will and Sean from Philadelphia to New York City.
Hey, Marina, let me ask you real quick. We know that there are still a number of people who are unaccounted for, including a Baltimore father. Do we know if the search is ongoing, when they will pick up that search to start going back through those cars?
It is still very much a rescue mission out here live on the ground, Sean. I'll tell you, there are still firefighters out on the scene, and Philadelphia Fire Department is still in charge of the scene. Now, NTSB is handling the investigative phase of this all, but it's the firefighters that are working the scene, and they continue to search because, like you said, there are still so many that are unaccounted for.
Marina Morocco, thank you.
Now we'll focus on one of the passengers who didn't survive, a Rockville man who worked for Wells Fargo in New York City. He was among those 7 killed. Lauren DeMarco spoke with a family member tonight, and she continues our coverage live from Rockville. Lauren?
Well, you know, a lot of business travelers make the trip between D.C. and New York, and the Rockville man who lived in this neighborhood right here behind me, he did it frequently, almost every week. In fact, he happened to still be in town yesterday because he was here to bury his uncle, according to family members.
It was just kind of a shock because, you know, I was probably one of the last people to talk to him yesterday before he left.
Fahad Hoda says he just saw his cousin, Abid Gilani, Tuesday afternoon. Gilani worked in New York and typically spent weekdays there, but had come to his home in Rockville to attend his uncle's funeral in D.C.
He was just talking about going up to New York, and he was going to drop his wife off. So he took the train, you know, last night, and then, you know, I kind of heard about the crash last night, so it kind of hit me that he was taking a crash, but didn't put 2 and 2 together. So found out this morning he was, you know, he was on the train.
Gilani, one of the 7 people killed Tuesday night when Amtrak train 188 derailed in Philadelphia. Family members and loved ones now gathering at the Rockville home where he spent his weekends along with his wife. They say he also leaves behind 2 adult children.
He was really outgoing. Again, he loves sports, and that's kind of what we had in common. And so, yeah, so he was a really good person. He actually came to our wedding a few months ago.
This is just a terrible tragedy. I never, in my wildest imaginations, imagined something like this happening.
Norma Allwell lives next door. She saw coverage of the crash on the news, but never imagined her neighbor could be involved. She says her heart goes out to his family.
How they'll cope. I mean, you know, they're like this.
Gilani's wife headed to Philadelphia to look for him after he failed to contact her overnight. Family members are now awaiting her return. A spokesperson for Wells Fargo, where Gilani worked, said in a statement, "It is with great sadness that Wells Fargo confirms that Abid Gilani, a valued member of our commercial real estate division, has passed away. Our hearts go out to all those impacted by this tragedy." And I'm told that the funeral will likely be held in California. That's where Gilani had roots, and he also had at least one of his adult children living in that area. That's latest here in Rockville. Lauren DeMarco, Fox 5 Local News.
All right, Lauren, he was a commuter, and we want to tell people if you're traveling north on Amtrak in just the next few days, keep in mind the Northeast Regional Line is operating on a modified schedule. Right now, no service between New York and Philadelphia, and only limited service between DC's Union Station and Philadelphia. We'll update you on any more service changes on air, myfoxdc.com, and our social media pages.
Fox 5 is in Montgomery County now. Police need the public's help solving a Rockville couple's murder. They're asking anyone who lives in the Ridge Drive area of the Glen Hills neighborhood to check their home video systems. They're looking for video that may help them figure out who killed Richard and Julianne Villardo. Their daughter found them dead at their home on Mother's Day. The couple died from sharp force trauma. At this point, police don't have any suspects. Well, tonight, we know the financial cost of the recent Baltimore riots. According to a survey from the Small Business Administration, more than 30 businesses and 1 home were heavily damaged in those riots. More than 250 other businesses sustained minor damage. The estimated cost of damage, $9 million. Some of the affected businesses can apply for disaster loan assistance.
A crime alert if you live in Fairfax County. A group of thieves are targeting homes looking for valuable jewelry. Detectives are making some progress, though. They've arrested this suspect, identified as Jan Parchewski. Police believe this suspect and up to 3 others targeted homes in Great Falls, Reston, McLean, and Vienna. Police say they strike during the day when homeowners are out running errands. Once again, we're talking about Great Falls, Reston, McLean, and Vienna. There may have been additional burglaries that have gone unreported.
Well, still ahead tonight, Sue has a look at your forecast.
I know Sue gave you permission to wear UGG boots,
That's
right?
That's right.
And
You know what that means.
And Will, you can break out those fleece jammies too.
You got it.
I insist on it. I know I will be. It feels like such a complete change, almost a 180 from last night when we were still near 80 at 11 o'clock. We are down in the 50s in many areas, headed for the 40s. I'll have a complete look at your forecast in just moments. Brody?
All right, Sue, it's been a heartbreaking night for the DC sports fan. 11 plus minutes into overtime. The Rangers win the face-off. The initial shot stopped by Braden Holtby, but Derek Stepan scores on the rebound to win it for the Rangers. The Caps lose 2-1 in overtime, eliminated in 7 games. All of those losses decided by 1 goal. We'll have the rest of the big night in DC sports later in the show.
Did you ever take piano lessons when you were a kid? Maybe your children do now. Well, here is evidence. Look closely. Practice really does pay off. This is 11-year-old Joey Alexander. Yes, 11 years old.
Yeah, he's a normal kid who says he loves the Avengers and SpongeBob, but Joey is also a jazz piano prodigy from Indonesia. This week, he released his debut CD. How about that one? Famed composer and trumpeter Wynton Marsalis discovered Joey on YouTube, brought him to New York to perform last year at Lincoln Center.
Go Joey, right on. And you know Sean and I tweet throughout the 11 o'clock broadcast. Connect with us at Will Thomas Fox 5.
And at Fox 5 Sean, let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you think about some of the stories we're showing you tonight, or just tweet us to say hello. We'll be right back.
You can talk about Joey.
Exactly. Welcome back, everybody. Let's take it outside right now. A cool day around the region. Temperatures in the 60s for most of the day out there.
We are looking at a slight warm up for tomorrow. All right, Sue, how warm are we talking?
You know what? I think low 70s will be doable, Will and Sean, and that'll be a lot warmer than it was today.
Not bad.
You know what
that means her UGG boots go back under the bed, right?
I think they will, yeah, but they'll come in real handy in the morning, believe me. And I know Sean's busy in the morning getting the kids off to school.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what, tonight you don't want to have those windows open too wide because you will feel it. And one thing I am looking forward to tomorrow, yeah, we're back to the spring temperatures. We're going to ditch the wind, which was pretty gusty today, up and over 30 miles an hour for much of the day. And that's because this big area of high pressure was building in, but it has settled in nicely now. The winds are going to get much lighter, and while we were only in the 60s today, we should be able to do 70s tomorrow. Our temperatures, though, right now have dropped mainly into the 50s all across the region. And in the suburban areas, we're headed for the 40s. If you're worried about your plants and frost, we think that frost could only be patchy through the Potomac Highlands, otherwise fairly dry around the region tonight, so we hope there won't be any big problems. But we are going to be starting out on a chilly note with all those 40s in the suburbs, dropping to about 52 here in the district under clear to partly cloudy skies overnight. In fact, clouds were really predominant, especially across Maryland for much of the day today, so that really had a big influence on temperatures, which is why so many places stayed in the 60s. And we see a little bit of high, thin cloudiness coming from this moisture that we're watching work its way up through Texas and into the southern and central plains. And in fact, you know, we've been watching Texas because they had a lot of severe weather early this week, late last week, Sunday night. It looks like over the weekend, once again, there's going to be another severe storm outbreak affecting Texas and the Plain States. So we'll be watching that closely. That will happen on Saturday, we believe. What about for us as we head into the weekend? We're warming up in a big way. We're going to be spring-like tomorrow. We'll warm up a little bit more on Friday, but then bring on the upper 80s, maybe mid-80s for Saturday and Sunday. And as we get that southwest wind, we increase the humidity. we're also going to see the chance for some thunderstorms around this weekend, and any thunderstorms could potentially have some decent downpours with them. Now, I think the better chance of that might be on Sunday, which is good because, you know, we have the Preakness Saturday. We don't want it raining. 84 degrees. It could go a little bit warmer than this, though, so we'll let you know if we have to make any adjustments upward with these temperatures into the weekend. But I don't think either of these days are a washout. Summertime stuff where you have that increasing chance for some activity between about 3 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So once we get into Friday, high pressure is going to move off the coast. That opens the door for the warmer air to start working its way in. And one thing we are going to watch is to see if any of these showers that we expect to develop in the mountains get a little bit closer to us in the Friday evening time frame around here. But otherwise, I think most of Thursday looking great. Friday should be pretty terrific too. Question mark on whether we get a little bit of action west of D.C. in terms of showers and storms Friday night. Here comes those warmer days for the weekend, and we also keep it in the low 80s Monday and Tuesday with a chance for some scattered thunderstorms, and then much cooler on Wednesday as we get back down to a more spring-like 74 degrees. So we went 10 days in a row, guys, at or above 80, touching 90 yesterday. Kind of a refreshing change for the next couple of days.
That means no complaints, right?
That's right. We're not allowed to complain.
We love it. Thank you, Sue.
All right, thanks, Sue. A sweet moment caught on camera. Lacey Parker is a 10-year-old middle school student from North Carolina who also happens to have Down syndrome.
That's right. She's been working really hard to make the cheerleading team just like her sister. And recently, she got some big news. Take a look.
I made it.
You made it?
I made it.
You're a cheerleader!
She's a natural-born cheerleader, you can tell.
Lacey says her next goal is to get her driver's license so she can drive her dream car, which just so happens to be a black Mustang.
Love that. I'm so glad Lee put that in the show.
So sweet.
All right, a tough night for DC sports fans. Brody Logan is here to walk us through the losses.
After he cleans up the set.
Yeah. When I get depressed, I clean.
There you go.
Okay. All
Just
right.
work it out, man. Work it out.
Can you come to my house, Brody?
I need to be more depressed.
All right.
I feel like
Can't blame them.
This is a very small desk.
Right over there.
Oh, this is fine. It's a night when you wish you had 4 TVs. The Capitals, Wizards, Nats, and United all in action on the same day. It's only happened 7 times in DC history, and never have the 4 teams gone undefeated on the same day. We start with the most exciting game in sports, a playoff Game 7. Caps with a tough task. The Rangers a perfect 6-0 all-time in Game 7s at the Garden. First period, no score. Marcus Johansson, a nifty pass in front to Alex Ovechkin, who beats Henrik Lundqvist for his 5th goal of the playoffs and a 1-0 Capitals lead. Second period now. Caps shorthanded, failed to clear their zone. JT Miller passes to Kevin Hayes, and he scores past Braden Holtby, game tied 1-1. Third period, the hit of the game. Brooks Orpik steamrolls Dan Boyle. Boyle was forced to leave the game after that hit. We would need overtime. 40th for a Game 7. The Rangers win the faceoff. Dan Girardi's shot stopped by Holtby, but Derek Stepan takes advantage, scores the game winner. 11:24 into overtime. The Caps lose 2-1, eliminated in 7 games. First loss of the night for DC. Well, a heartbreaker to start off the DC sports night, but a ray of hope for Wizards against the Hawks. When John Wall fractured 5 bones in his hand and wrist, many feared he was done. Doctors said the best case scenario would be a return in the next series. But tonight, there he is. John Wall miraculously playing 10 days after suffering his hand injury. Second half, Paul Millsap turns it over. Wall goes over the head behind his back to Bradley Beal for the lay-in. The Wizards led by 9 in the 4th quarter. Final seconds, tied at 78. Paul Pierce turns it over, flops to the ground, doesn't get the call. Damari Carroll lays it in to give the Hawks an 81-80 lead. Wizards, they have some time. Wall along the baseline finds Paul Pierce in the corner. The truth. Huge 3 with 8.3 seconds to go. Wizards in front, 81-80. Hawks, they would have one last chance. Dennis Schroeder, he drives, blocked by Wall. Al Horford gets the rebound, lays it in with 1.2 seconds left. Wizards with a chance, inbound. John Wall's desperation heave, no good at the buzzer. Wizards lose 82-81, trail 3 games to 2. Second loss of the night for DC. They happened 13 minutes apart from each other on unlucky Wednesday the 13th.
I didn't think he played Tennessee at all. didn't ever see him wince or seem to be hit where anything bothered him, so that's good. And he played like John all.
This afternoon, the Nats and D-backs in the rubber game. Top 7, Bryce Harper, 1-2 count. Here, a check swing. Home plate umpire Rob Drake rings Bryce up without checking with the third base ump. Bryce just losing it. Gets right in Drake's face. He gets the heave-ho. Then manager Matt Williams comes up to support Bryce. And, well, he gets tossed as well. Said the right thing. Top 9, Nats down 1. Michael Taylor, bases loaded for the first time in his major league career. A no-doubter grand slam. The Nats win 9-6, giving DC its first victory of the day. Tonight, Ben Olsen and DC United looking to extend their unbeaten streak to 8, hosting Orlando City. 70th minute, United down 1-0. Taylor Kemp, free kick into the box, headed in by Kofi Opari. And that's a goal. DC finishes the night 2 for 2. Also tonight, the Orioles down the Blue Jays 6-1. Stay tuned. TMZ is next, and join us again tomorrow for Fox 5 News Morning.